Hello and welcome to Coachable. Trying something new today. We have a virtual or a town hall sort of thing, and I'll just call this Coachable. This is episode 32, live from my back deck. So I'm on YouTube TV, so pardon me as I get used to this. So it's also a video in case you're just seeing this as a way for you to get audio. Today's podcast is a little different. This is more of a check-in for you and or for your client. I think a lot of times things can get boring without proper check-ins and or taking your pulse just a little bit. And I think this allows you to take your pulse. This allows you to get a little bit better, maybe check in and get a little bit more inventory on how things are going. And for lack of better words, I think it just helps you to see what's next. So question number one, and its importance is, how are you feeling today? And if you're asking a client this, I think this can be very helpful because you can find out what sort of soreness they have, what sort of things that they've done since you saw them last, and you can kind of have a little bit better take on what you're going to do today. And I think a lot of times people don't necessarily ask the right questions, and this being one of the questions to ask is, and waiting for the answer and waiting for the right answer is helpful in determining, hey, you know what? Maybe we're going to make some modifications today. So how are you feeling today? And by the way, for you, how are you feeling today? You can kind of take the pulse of the situation and say, hey, you know what? Didn't sleep well last night, a little tired. Maybe I need to take a nap. Something like that. Again, you can find out a little bit more about yourself and maybe about your sleep habits. Okay. Building off of question number one. Question two. Are you okay? This is for clients. Are you okay if we address that soreness or maybe a little stiffness, something like that? Are you okay if we address that with a few drills sprinkled in with your workout? And usually if someone comes into your office or your house on a hot day, right, and they were just outside and you offer them a glass of water, they're most likely going to say yes. In this instance, this is most likely a rhetorical question. However, what you're finding out is a little bit more of getting to yes so that you can find out how else you can help them. So this builds off of question number one, but it's also pertinent because you're answering their concerns based off of that first question. Question three, what workouts, stretches, and or cardio did you do between the time I saw you last and today? And this will kind of gauge on what sort of help they may need, what sort of guidance they may need on a basis where they may be looking for nutrition assistance. They may be looking for a massage therapist. They might have a lingering pain and it's not solved by the stretches you gave them. You need to refer out to a physical therapist. So again, this sort of taking the pulse of the client is super helpful in figuring out exactly how you can help them and how, if they did a workout that, let's say they repeated a workout. Let's say you have workout A and they did workout A. Should you do workout A this time or should you do workout B or C? And again, the format of finding out what is best for the client is super helpful here. So the repeating a workout that they already did is probably not the best move. This is where you're going to teach them and take them to the next level with a new workout. That's question three. Question four. I love this question, but I think it does take some experience in order to answer it properly. So after they do an exercise, try this. Where did you feel that? You're going to get one of two things. One, they're going to know right away, and they're going to say, you know what? I felt it in my biceps. If they're doing a one-arm row, you might have questions, and you might be like, okay, biceps is okay, but anything in the back? No, not really. Okay, well, we got some work to do. We got to get your back involved. Maybe we have to free up the scapula. Maybe we have to do a different version, a different angle, different band, different cable. Right? There's a lot of options here now. So just because you asked a question, now you're able to find out maybe what's more appropriate for that client. Meanwhile, they've always been doing a dumbbell row or cable row or whatever. Now you can get their bicep to work with their row, but they really get them to cue in and feel that mid back and the back. So, and the reason I say it's a hard question potentially for somebody who's maybe just starting out is they might not know how to get it to that fix, right? Where'd you feel that? My bicep. You're not supposed to feel it there. Okay. But in this instance, if you are a newer coach and you're just finding out that they might not be feeling it exactly where you want them to, guess what you do? you know what? I'm gonna look into this because this isn't where we're supposed to field it here. But in the same token, let's keep doing it. Maybe get a little bit more stability as you finish the motion with a little bit 1 count squeeze. See if we can take the bicep out of it, something like that. Again, the concept here is real simple. What we're trying to do is ask better questions so that we can find out how we can serve the client at a higher level. That's number 4. Number 5, and this is another similar question, but how was that intensity of that exercise you just performed? Was it easy, medium, or hard? And this is important for a couple of reasons, but really, I think the most simplest one is how much more weight or less weight should they be using, right? And again, the concept here is if you're using intensity properly, then on a set that they're doing, they should be on a medium to hard, not necessarily the weight lifted. We haven't discussed the weight, but the intensity. So if they did 15 to 20 reps, but it was appropriate for them, meaning they couldn't have done 2 or 3 more, then that was the appropriate weight. And if they say that it was easy, then we know we have to go up. So again, an easy question to ask, but maybe if you don't know how to increase the intensity without increasing injury risk, maybe a challenging one if you're just starting out as a trainer or coach. Another question, and this is question 6, this would be asked during the session, maybe in a lull between setting up exercises, getting them to rest, having them get water. How are your energy levels throughout the day? And I think what you're looking for here is, maybe they have too much caffeine, and they're like, I have 3, 4, 5 cups of coffee in the morning, and then I have an energy drink at noon, and then I really have trouble sleeping at night. Okay, got it. Or you find out that they don't eat breakfast, they barely eat lunch, and then they have a massive dinner, and then they can't fall asleep, and then they repeat it over and over again, right? So it's an open-ended question, right? It's a how question, not a how would you rate your energy levels, good, bad, right? It's a fill in the blank question. So with questions like this, we're able to find out exactly how we can help people because we ask questions that we might not know the answer to, but we also might not know exactly how we can help them until we ask, right? So the closed mouth doesn't get fed. Speaking of sleep, another good question. How do you find your sleep lately? And I think the question here is, again, another open-ended question, right? It's a how. How did you find your sleep lately? Are you sleeping well? Are you waking up at night? Are you waking up to use a restroom? There's strategies for all of these answers to the questions, right? So the concept here is not that we know everything, but it's that we're helping strategize for the client in areas that aren't just sets and reps. And I think that's a powerful lesson there. That's question number 7. Number 8, tell me about your nutrition habits lately. And again, the concept here is simple, but again, it's a tell me about, so open-ended. And some people may say, by the way, these are too many questions, which they are, for one training session. They are. This is not a comprehensive list that you're supposed to ask within the context of an individual training session, but these are more tools that you can use. And again, telling me about your nutrition habits. Oh, well, I struggle to get enough protein. I really have I don't have enough meal ideas, and I just get bored eating the same thing over and over again. All of these things you're going to hear, right? So when you hear them, you're able to solve the problem for the person. Once again, if you don't ask the question, you're never going to have the opportunity to answer. And tell me for 9, this is another one that kind of goes back to number 2, but this is more for what I would call homework. Are you open to mobility, flexibility, cardio homework on the days that we don't spend together? Are you open to doing this? And if so, how can I be most helpful? And this is question number 9, but this might be question like you ask on the first date, the first assessment, because you're going to be able to find out how many more times that they want to work out, how many more times that they have within their bandwidth to do so. So asking this question is very, very potent because you're going to be able to also create content off of this. You're going to also be able to solve this problem for other clients. You can make this for newsletters. You can solve this vacation workouts. Whatever you're thinking that they may need. If you solve the answer for one, you're probably going to solve it for a lot of people. So question number 9, are you open to homework outside of the days that we work together? I think that's helpful. Question number 10, what else can I help you with? Again, open-ended question, softball toss type question. See if they hit it out of the park. they could say, let me think on that. Somebody just this past week said, I'd like you to make some goals for me. Oh, okay. And any round? And he said, no, I think you're probably good at that. You probably do that a lot. You probably, you've seen a lot of clients. It's like, okay. Now, my answer there was that I kind of threw it back to him and I said, well, let me ask you this. How would I be able to help you be more consistent with your workouts? This is somebody who's scheduled for twice a week, but only comes in probably once a week. And he said, I'm twice a week. I said, well, you're scheduled for twice a week. And so it was just another interesting dialogue. And I said, I know your life is busy. I get it. But in order for me to help serve you at a higher level than once a week, right, which is sort of a maintenance package, then if you come in twice a week, then I can probably have a better sense of how I can serve you again at a higher level. And so the question wasn't negative, right? It was just, what do you think about getting in twice a week? Is that a good goal for you? And I said, yeah, I could make those sessions up. Interesting. So a lot of times, again, you can ask the question that they may be able to answer for themselves and solve the problem themselves. So sometimes this is a self-awareness drill just as well, just as much for the coach as it is for the client. The other question, and this goes back and forth with goals. The other question that I really like is, what other goals have changed, or how have things changed since you started working with me, and how can you anticipate them as we head into, in this instance, the fall? So this question is very, very pertinent. And right now, as the seasons are changing, people are about to be in the Northeast. They're just going into their final weeks of summer. And then here in the Midwest, they're already back in school. So life has really changed for a lot of people in a lot of ways. Travel has come to an abrupt halt. People are really focused back at work. Kids are back in school. So with that, we know that parents may have a little bit more structure. They may have a little bit more childcare. And so now maybe the parents can focus on themselves. So again, the question that you're asking is maybe seasonal in this one, right? So you're going to ask, every quarter, let's say, how have your goals changed since we started training? How are we meeting / satisfying / modifying your goals in order to keep you wanting to come back for more, right? So this is more of a check-in, probably on a quarterly basis than an individual basis. But again, one of those questions, you throw it out there, you might be surprised at what you get to hear from people. So are your goals revolving or changing, and how have they changed since you started training, and anything you want to do different in the near future? That's number 11. Number 12, what other obstacles do you face on a daily or weekly basis that I could potentially help you with? And as question number 12, we're getting kind of into the troubleshooting. We've kind of already started specifically, but I think the other thing you won't know is if somebody is, for instance, they're working out once or twice a week, and then once or twice a week on outside of, training with you, I think you're going to find that they may be working on a different intensity, which is okay, but you might be able to share a workout with them so that they can, a simple workout, maybe in a different format, because they're saying that the intensity when they work out by themselves is not the same as when they work out with you, meaning you need to find a way to ramp up the intensity, and so they feel more confident doing so when they're self-guided. So again, the question is very specific, but yet you're broadening your scope of how you could potentially help. So really, really love this question. The obstacle is the way, right? The Ryan Holiday, the stoicism, all of that. So finding out the obstacle and see what you can do to help. That's question number 12. 13. This is a good marketing and business one. Do you have any friends like yourself who would appreciate coaching and maybe would join you for a workout one day? You could text intro them. You can do it right now and say, hey, do you want to come in for your next workout with me on insert day here? No cost, just come in. And this happens a lot, but I think the main tool here is that you're doing it in person. You're like watching them do that, watching them text intro you and just getting it done. Boom. Just get that referral done. And for most coaches who say that referrals are a very, very powerful method for referrals, for marketing, this is probably an underused strategy. So something that I try to use as much as possible. In addition, something that I try to encourage my coaches to do. So finding like-minded individuals, people who might appreciate coaching but aren't necessarily sure what small group training or one-on-one training or group fitness, whatever your service is that you offer, finding out how you might be able to help somebody else who might be looking and lurking, but they might not necessarily know exactly how to get started. So number 13, finding like-minded individuals to see if you can help, and also provides a better sense of community, right? If their friend is coming to the gym or the training studio, what do you think they're gonna do if they're like, I don't feel like going today, but my friend is going. I gotta go. Okay. So again, the complexity is in the details here of it's a marketing tool, but also it's a retention tool. So if you have more people that they like to work out with, they're probably going to attend. This one's a very, very much up my sleeve of working with injuries. And what I mean by that is if somebody was doing a set of, let's say, overhead press, and then they made a face like I just did. This is where you can really be detailed. And this is technically 14 and 15. So you're going to ask, hey, you know what? Can we set that down real quick? Notice you winced. It's okay. No. Just set it down. No problem here. And you're going to be able to find out a little bit more about what just happened. And I think a lot of people might say, oh, you sure? No, like, hold on, just set it down. Just take it easy. And I think this is really important because what you just saw, this is why you're coaching and cueing somebody. Or if they had said this after the set, right? If they said it, just, you know what, that last set hurt me. Can you watch my form a little bit more closely? And then you watch it and you don't see anything. There's a couple questions that I think you're going to ask. So the 15th question, this is the 14th question, but you're asking about, okay, can you talk to me about what just happened? Boom. And then the 15th is more about the pain. And this is really, really high level, but this will allow you to think about what the coaching, the next step is. Do you need to refer out to a physical therapist or are they just doing it wrong? So let's say they're doing the overhead press and they're shrugging at the top. They kind of felt it in their neck and they're locking out. They don't necessarily have full range of motion. And you've told them that in the past when they finish with their dumbbells and the barbell above your head, that they're not going to go and try to get their head underneath and almost behind. So the question is, where did you feel that pain and when did you feel it? And if they say, I felt it right in the front of my shoulder. Okay, well, they were shrugging. So that makes sense. They were pinching right at their AC joint. There's probably not a lot of room there for them. They have difficulty overhead anyways. Second, if they said it was only at the top, then what you can do is do partial range of motion. Now, that may be putting a Band-Aid on it, right? You're still going to want to fix what's going on and have them get into their overhead range of motion pain-free, right? But in the same token, the whole concept of asking the better question, in this instance, you're asking about where and how the pain manifested, you're going to be able to serve them at a higher level. So 14 and 15, hey, you know what? Can we pause and fix this for a second? That's number 14, making sure to ask the question, ask for permission that you can try to fix this, and then ask them about it. What happened? And then the 15th is to find out exactly what's going on from asking a little bit more potent questions about pain. So when did it hurt? What kind of pain was it? Was it sharp, shooting, dull? Was it more of a throbbing? Was it like a pinching? Like all of those are possible questions. Pain, tingling, numbness, that kind of thing. Real potent questions, but you can find out a lot more about the individual movement that they just did and how you can help them. This question is maybe a loaded question, and some people may be afraid because they don't change the workouts. They don't change programs. They don't track programs. So there's probably a lot of trainers that would be like, I'm not going to ask this question because I don't want to know the answer. But this is real specific to their experience as a customer. So question 16 is, how do these workouts meet your expectations as compared to when you started? And ideally, what they say is, these workouts have been great. I've done things I couldn't previously do. 1, 2, my energy levels are what I never thought. 3, I'm able to eat more carbohydrates, probably get away with a little bit more wiggle room without the scale budging, a few pounds here and there, and other side effects of training, right? So ideally, that's what happens in a situation where someone is coming in frequently. They're able to attend at a time that they can attend. You have the availability to serve them. In addition, you're serving them at a high level so that they want to come back. On the flip side, if your client likes you, maybe loves you, like they're in love with your training and all that stuff, and they say, well, you know what, I have noticed I've put on a little weight. Oh, okay. Well, interesting. Now you have a whole nother rabbit hole of conversation. And or you could prefer out, have them talk to a nutritionist. Maybe even when they talk to a nutritionist, even on a consult, the nutritionist says things that you might have whispered to them before. And you're not the bad guy anymore, but you're really confirming the things that they want to improve on. And that they are maybe Chardonnay Karen, her 2 glasses are really 4. And, then she's not, it's wine and cheese night. So it's wine plus the cheese. And all of these things add up. Right? Meaning all of these questions, but also the calories. And the questions add up because when you ask better questions, you're asking things and to find out that things you didn't know. Right? So I think the more loaded you can make the question, and it's the more you're going to be able to serve the client at a high level. That's what this comes down to. How can we serve the client in front of us at a high level? 17, another one that maybe it might be able to touch a nerve, but this, I would say, you have to wait until you feel like you're comfortable with this individual in terms of the question that you're going to ask. Does your significant other support your health and fitness goals? Or how does your significant other support your health and fitness goals? This is question 17. And this is interesting because one thing that I've noticed is that people won't actually say. It's either going to be one of two things, really, right? So they're going to say, "Oh, you know what? My wife does CrossFit, and I like strength training," or the opposite, right? My husband does CrossFit, and I like strength training, but I don't like CrossFit. It's not for me. Cool, awesome, good job. And what about nutrition? Do you guys like to cook healthy meals together? Yeah, actually, we order from, just making this up, the Butcher Box, and then we get fresh vegetables from the farmers market, etc. Again, I was making that up, but something that you can ask a question to or offer that, right? Is, you know what? If their spouse doesn't work out and they're afraid to work out, and I've been thinking about telling my spouse to come here, but trying to tell my spouse to come here, but they haven't been able to make it in. Cool. Do they come in the morning? Do they work out in the evenings? What's their schedule like? What if you guys came in together? What about a weekend, right? Try to make the barrier to entry just a little bit less, right? So again, the concept here is, can you ask a question that they might be, because here's the other side of this, is that they're going to say, my spouse doesn't work out. Now you know that things may be a little harder on the individual, right, in terms of their support system. And then 2, you might be fighting a double-edged sword with them about, like, they know what they need to do, but they're not necessarily being supported in the things that they need to do. I hope that makes sense. So that is number 17. Number 18, talk to me about workouts in a hotel, in a new gym, when you're on the road. How do you feel about travel workouts and keeping up your 2 or 3 times or 4 times a week commitment, whatever that commitment may be? How do you feel about those kind of workouts? And this is where it's, again, you might be like, well, this is more homework for me. This is content. So if you look at it like this, hey, this is some way that I'm going to be able to support my client. I'm going to make this workout for them, right? Show them just whatever, maybe you get the hotel gym. You get the hotel website, then you get the gym from going to their website, and you're like, oh, cool. They got machines. Cool. We're going to do Geronda 8x8. They're going to be gone for 3 days. They're going to do back. They're going to go 8x8 row, 8x8 pull down, 30 seconds rest. They're going to be super sore, but they're going to feel it. And then they're going to do plank, side plank, and hollow rock. Cool. That's workout 1. Workout 2, they're going to do leg extension, leg press, leg curls. Again, just making this up. 8x8, 8x8, 8x8. They're super sore. Oh my goodness, I was so sore. Cool. And then the third day, they're going to do push. They're going to do an incline press on a machine, and then a overhead press on a machine, and then maybe a push-up plank hold for 3 by 30 to 60 seconds. Again, just making this up, but that would be very, very different than what they're used to. But again, you're asking them about their flexibility, their open-mindedness, about working out on the road and keeping up and finding out how you can support them. So again, the concept here is travel and workouts specifically, but from a broader perspective, it's how you can support them. So, and if you're worried like, oh, that's more work for me, you're going to have to make this eventually. So just another service you can offer. So post it as content. They could save it too. The last thing, last 2 questions. Number 19 specifically is, hey, are you okay with trying out, and this would probably tie into the 1 through 18 questions, right? But question 19 specifically is, would you be open to or would you want to try a new training routine? And this could be a frequency-based training routine. This could be a equipment-based training routine, but whatever it is, you're going to ask the question, would you be open to training in a different way? And they might be like, I don't know what you mean. And then you tell them, and you find out that, hey, you know what? We're going to do something very different. Thanks. We're going to do something very different, but I think you'll like it. I think it's appropriate for you, and we're going to have the weight be scaled so that it's right for you. So again, the concept here is you're always looking out for them and saying, hey, talk to me about what your future thoughts are on trying something new from a workout perspective. And the last question 20, I would say this is probably a more weekly, bi-weekly situation, right? So you're going to check in on a schedule, right? What's your next week like, or what's the next few weeks like? Talk to me about those. Question 20, just as a broader check-in. But in the same token, this would be a weekly thing where you say, how's your week looking ahead? Send this out every Saturday or Sunday. How's the week looking ahead? They might already have scheduled it, maybe, but you're getting them to think ahead as opposed to react, as opposed to it being Wednesday and be like, wait, I haven't worked out yet because I've been on the road. Well, cool. When did you go on the road? Monday night. Cool. Could you have worked out Monday morning? Yes, forgot to check in with my coach. Cool. Got it. That's the coach's fault in addition to the client's fault. But you can fix this by asking the question in advance. So again, the questions are so, and I made this on a plane ride, fully caffeinated, but the questions I just was thinking about all these things that you can do to deepen your relationship with your client. And I don't mean from a personal level on how you can serve them though, and get to know them so that you can, as Gary Vee and other people in the Danny Meyer and Will Guidara say, surprise and delight them. Right? You might be able to find out that they have other things that they're passionate about. Maybe the pickleball, maybe whatever. You can find out other ways that you can support them. But if you don't ask the questions, this is why I'm giving you specific questions. These are almost icebreakers. You ask these specific questions, you're going to get some answers that I think you're going to be surprised at. So once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, this is something I'm truly passionate about serving the client at a high level, and the ability to be coachable as a client and ability to be coachable as a trainer comes without saying. So the more that both of us can be coachable, the more that both of us can achieve results on professional and a personal level that we never thought of. So have a great day.